So, I've created 12 constitutional amendments under a bill of structural integrity to fix the US government after months of research into the most trusted governments and courts in the world. I've also created a digital Agoria where verified Americans can review these proposals and vote on them directly. The goal is to create a public record against those who are supposed to represent us leading into the midterms. So, I need your vote by July 31st to prove where America actually stands. I'm breaking down one amendment per video so you know what exactly it is that you're voting on. Amendment 1 through 4 focused on creating fair elections, while 5 through 8 is correcting our justice system. In 1925, Chief Justice Taft asked Congress to amend the Judiciary Act so SCOTUS would no longer be required to hear so many cases. He argued that the court could not manage the caseload, and Congress was like, okay, shifting the court from a largely mandatory court to a discretionary one. Then in 1988, Congress passed the Supreme Court Case Selections Act, which removed most of the court's remaining mandatory review and gave SCOTUS near total control over which cases it chose to hear. This has allowed SCOTUS to deny close to 250,000 cases since 1993. That keeps the institution insulated and protected, especially when judges and much of the surrounding court staff are shielded by judicial immunity. It also allowed SCOTUS to become a de facto controller of the Constitution. In practice, 5 justices can determine the rights of every person in this country with no way to overturn it other than waiting for a new court to come in. Amendment 5 creates 2 separate courts instead of one. A constitutional court would handle any constitutional issues, while a separate Supreme Court will handle everything else in federal law, civil, criminal, and between the states. Both courts would have a fixed number of justices, and those numbers could not be changed except by constitutional amendment, and each justice would serve one 18-year term, and no justice can remain in office after age 75. Most importantly, the amendment also forces both courts to actually explain themselves, so no more shadow dockets, and it requires mandatory review in major cases instead of letting the court just ignore them. Lastly, it creates a check on the court by limiting how easily long-standing precedent can be overturned, by requiring at least 3/4 vote if the precedent has stood for more than 10 years. If the court rules in poor favor, Congress can bring that law back if 2/3 of both the House and the Senate vote to restore it within 1 year of the court's decision. So make sure to go and vote if you want this amendment to be ratified, or suggest whatever changes you'd like to see. And make sure to share so everybody can get their chance to vote, and follow to hear Amendment 6, which covers how judges actually get on the bench. Coming up next.